Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my second blog post. I was supposed to put this up yesterday, but I left it too late and ended up really tired, so I went to bed instead. Over the sort of past week of blogging and doing this stuff, I think the thing that's happened the most is I've been trying to figure out how to generate content. I've got a new and healthy respect for the people that do this every day because it's really hard. So I don't know whether they just have super exciting lives or they're just really outgoing, and I just can't seem to do it as well. Hopefully I'll pick that up with practice. What I did do, being a data-driven person, is I went out and looked at a lot of the popular vlogs and a few of the vlogs I like, and I tried to figure out what are they doing and how are they going about things. So the first thing is I am not a large-breasted woman. Oh, yeah. The second thing I noticed is that most of these YouTube vlogs seem to film in their bedroom.
Fuck.
And I think the third thing I noticed is that they're, especially for the big people, I don't know why they're popular. They just spew so much vapid shit. I mean, how many people have to shove cinnamon in their mouths before someone goes, this is a bad idea? So given that I'm not going to be able to make any of that work, I thought I'd just talk about my experience over the last week and sort of trying to get over what I've called unemploymentitis and get doing stuff. So I chose a couple of goals, and for the most part I think I managed to at least progress them and start to work my way out of just this ditch of not doing anything that I was in. I suppose I can give you a few tips. These only work for me, so if you have any of your own, comment, let people know. The first tip is I set a couple of goals. I didn't make them hugely constricting. I tried to make them realistic, so for me it was just a time-based thing, trying to at least put some time down every day to do each of the activities. And I think that was really important. I had two clear activities that I wanted to do, and I was able to achieve that. I think if you just go in with the attitude of saying, I'm going to be more productive, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to fall in a heap real fast, and you're gonna just find yourself twiddling your thumbs wondering what the hell you should do. The second thing, and this kind of works for me because of the type of personality I have, is I kind of just forced myself to do it. That meant I picked a time. For me, that was lunchtime. Before lunchtime, I was allowed to do whatever I wanted and really just get into the day. So for some people, you should probably do it as, you should probably put it after lunch or something. It depends whether you're sort of like an early starter or a late starter, or, what mindset you need to be in. And, that means understanding yourself. So for me, I need to, be relaxed and have a few things out of the way, a few easy things out of the way before I start. So I had a rule. At lunchtime, I would down whatever I was doing or just finish it off. So that was usually World of Warcraft. And I would force myself to, for the next 3 hours to do those two activities. The third thing I'd say, the third tip is have some sort of progress tracker. Something where you can see how you're doing, see how you're progressing, basically. So the painting, obviously it's a very visual medium. Having done it for a while now, I can sort of gauge how far a model is along. So, I could see myself placing down the base coats, and I actually got to a point where I was able to put the first shader on one of the base coat areas, and that gives me a real sense of progress. It keeps me coming back the next day. For the writing, the obvious one is the word count. So just having a number there that's ticking over every day, and every day I found myself, even though I didn't explicitly set out to do this, I found myself trying to get a higher word count each day. And in doing that, I was able to motivate myself despite the fact that previously there'd been no motivation at all. My fourth tip is that you have to be wanting to do what you set out to do, because if you're going to self-motivate and self-drive, you don't have anybody breathing down your neck. You don't have anybody demanding that deadline or, wondering where stuff is. No one's going to come up to you and say, why isn't this here? Why isn't this done? Which, for those of you who work or have parents, then you're used to that. That's your primary motivator. In an essence, that's sort of a form of fear. But that fear is totally removed, and the only real fear you have is not completing it, and that's not a huge motivator. So you've really got to want to do what you set out to do. So, you've got to want to tell that story. This sort of ties in with tip number 2. If you find, it'll wax and wane. Some days you will want to do it, and some days you just won't. On the days you don't, you need to force yourself to at least put in a little bit of time and to at least have that drive. During the week, actually, I got a tip from my good friend Grace. She does writing a bit more professionally than me. She actually sells books. I'll put a link in the description below to her Mirrorfall series. It's pretty good. Her method is she gets up early, she starts writing, and then when she hits a bit of a wall, she'll go away and do something a bit mindless, or something that doesn't engage her mind as much, a bit routine. She suggests cleaning. You saw my room earlier. That's probably not going to work for me, but if that works for you, that's great. For me, it's play something stupid like World of Warcraft. Kill a mob, kill the next mob. And that is something to disengage your brain. You're going to need to do that from time to time, because one of the things you'll find when you are self-motivating and self-directing your own work is that your mind is always going. In a workplace, what you'll find is you can often just switch off and do the mundane tasks. Widget A, widget B, whatever it is you do, you're able to just sort of mechanicize that process. Is that a word? Mechanicize? I don't know. But you're able to sort of, make that process routine and switch your brain off. When you're doing something like this that's creative or self-driven, you're always thinking, how do I do this better? How, what's the next part of the story? What should I be doing? What color do I have next? There's always something. Even when you've made something routine, your brain will be a step ahead thinking about what to do next and how to handle the next situation. So you're always on. So it's really important to take those breaks and to, disengage your brain. And for each person, that'll be a different time period. If you do that, put a limit on the time you do that. Otherwise, you'll lose the rest of your day. So with all that stuff that I've just said, that's what works for me. And what I've found with other people in the past is you can take my tips and see how they work for you. You can take other people's advice and see how it works for you. But the ultimate thing you have to have is an understanding of yourself. You have to know what motivates you, what drives you. You have to know what you're scared of, basically. And what you really, really want to do, if you want a lot of motivation, is put yourself in a situation where you are frightened. And engage that fight or flight adrenaline rush to get you going. It's, I'm not saying do your work on an edge of a cliff, but, make it at least so that you need to finish this. Anyway, guys, that's enough from me. I've pretty much said everything I want to. Continuing on, I'm going to blog probably less frequently. I want to try and deepen the content that I'm writing and just have less quantity, more quality. I'm going to try and do a vlog every week, at least. But if I have something to say or something to show, I'll just throw one up as well. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time.